Hello, this is Dr. Kurt Stahura as part of our Tourism Shorts series again. I come to you, as I always do, on the international border between Niagara Falls, New York, USA, and Niagara Falls, Canada. We have an interesting guest that we're going to be speaking with. His name is Kory Schuler. And what's interesting about Kory's perspective is that he represents the entire county. And there are an awful lot of opportunities within the county that have been largely not hidden, but certainly haven't been shared with tourists to the extent that they're going to be. We have wine trails, we have forts, we have outdoor opportunities which are becoming incredibly trendy. And that's going to be part of a portfolio or a menu of offerings in addition to our wonder of the world, which is in downtown Niagara Falls. So we look forward to chatting with him, and that'll be coming up next. So thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I guess we'll jump right in, and question number one would be, how has the COVID-19 pandemic affected the downtown Niagara Falls area? And you can speak to the county as well, because you have far-reaching responsibilities.
Sure. Well, I am the executive director of the Niagara USA Chamber, which is the countywide chamber of commerce for
Right.
all of Niagara. And it's been interesting the last 14 months, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it, really arc from the very beginning. We were one of the first events canceled in Niagara County. We had a gala on March 13th that didn't take place.
Right.
So from that day forward, we knew things were about to change. One of the biggest things in our standpoint is just watching the businesses really have to pivot into doing more online. So whether you're restaurants and doing online ordering, whether you're companies that had to learn how to do Zoom, it's really changed the landscape, because all of a sudden you had a lack of actual physical bodies within their offices and within the businesses in the region. So now it was trying to figure out, how do you still stay in contact with the people you deal with, whether it's your own employees, whether it's companies you deal with, and that was a big game changer for, I think, everyone.
Sure. Sometimes under duress, and clearly this was a situation that altered the economic landscape of the world, there are opportunities that come out of those things, or ways of looking at things a little differently. You had alluded to takeout, for instance, as a something that where some businesses shifted. Can you think of any other opportunities that may have unveiled themselves, even on a macro level, that COVID brought about?
I think one of the changes that we've seen is organizations and companies learning how to work in better collaboration with their partners.
Mm-hmm.
So before, we tended to be more siloed. It was our organization or our company. And this kind of opened up the landscape to figure out ways to work together, shared resources, looking towards the future of how we can actually merge or come together, streamlining processes to make things more cleaner, simpler, function better. And I think that's going to be something, that's going to be a trend you're going to see continue moving forward.
Okay, great. You have an interesting perspective from where you sit. And what I really enjoy about you being here is the fact that most people, when they think of Niagara, they think of Niagara Falls. And you obviously have the perspective of the entire county.
Sure.
So looking forward, do you see the county and the city being able to work on collective projects that might better serve both areas?
I do. Even using our own personal experience at the chamber, one of the things that we haven't announced yet, but we're actually going to be doing a satellite office in downtown Niagara Falls.
Right.
And that'll be something that we're going to be announcing in the near future.
Wonderful.
So you're going to see, like I said earlier, more collaboration. But I think on a countywide level, you're looking at people that are now forming partnerships, whether it's the farmers working with the restaurants downtown, how we can sort of streamline and line up tourism throughout the county, who's doing what. There tended to be in the past a lot of overlap, a lot of duplication of services, whether it's, how we serve our communities, how we serve the tourists, a lot of duplication of events, things overlapping on the same days. Now people are seeing the relevance of actually communicating with one another. all of those, dollars are important to each business, so you don't want to dilute the amount of revenue that you can bring in from an event. But just being able to offer a broader, wider aspect of what Niagara has to offer to the outside community.
Sure.
The tourism took a hit over the last 14 months, and there were good periods. I mean, a lot of people really kind of got back in touch with the natural part of Niagara Falls, especially the park system.
No question.
You can walk, you can stay social distance, so that end of it really actually kind of still functioned well.
And I think to the previous question, that may have been an opportunity for people to kind of build upon.
Exactly.
The recognition that this has an awful lot of open green space. So.
It didn't really affect how Niagara Falls as the falls itself functioned, and I think from the wider county perspective, people have seen that. So you're looking at wineries that are kind of now looking at ways to highlight their farms, their wineries that are open. Hey, you can come here. It's safe. It's natural.
Sure.
It's not the tourism that we might think like when we think of Clifton Hill in Canada. It's the agritourism that's really big in Niagara County. I think you're going to see that grow and grow and grow going forward. Mm-hmm. I have a counterpart in Canada that I work with closely, Dolores Fabiano. So I'm glad to see our brothers flagged here. But talking with her and what she went through during the pandemic and is still going through, it's been a challenge. And it's been a challenge on her side because you have the closed border.
Right.
So you don't have those tourists coming over. And now we're kind of lucky that people are kind of re-engaging with their home, I guess staycation was the word people used to use.
Yeah. Or people they're going into the old station wagon vacation mode, like the Griswolds.
Yes.
I think the other thing that has affected Canada is there are limitations with respect to provincial travel. So they're staying within the province, which is limiting as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. So excellent points. What are some of the, long-term projects that you think might become cornerstones or things that will enable people to stay here a little bit longer and enjoy some of the natural resources that we're trying to promote?
I think you're going to see, and I like to use the term holistic. Mm-hmm. I think you're going to see hopefully you're going to see a more holistic approach to tourism. So when we think of tourism, we think of an attraction in a specific area. And I think now you're kind of seeing more of an outgrowth where we're encouraging travel throughout the county, having all these different agencies, not necessarily siloed anymore.
Good.
But they didn't, not that they didn't work together, but sometimes they didn't always function as a well-oiled machine. Mm-hmm. So, now you're seeing the result, I guess the silver lining of the pandemic is when people had time to just take a step back, press pause, and really now think of where they're going, has been beneficial. And a really strange, I know that's kind of an odd way to say that, but it's given people time to really work within their partnerships, kind of reach across, communities and even into other counties. How can we bring those people here? How can we collaborate? And I think that's going to be a cornerstone of the industry here in Niagara County. Absolutely, 100%. And
by your what you just said, even Western New York kind of in general. Well, that's exciting because I think that there is so much to offer here, and there's so much history, and there's so much outdoor opportunity and things to draw from Lockport to Wilson to obviously downtown. So it's a portfolio as opposed to isolated events that you'd almost have to seek out on your own individually.
I think there was too many. For far too long, there were too many ideas that were very myopic, and if you can actually present a broader landscape, it's much more attractive. And opening those doors of communication where all those groups can work together. We've been working at the Chamber on a number of different initiatives. So, like different business associations will now start coming under the Chamber again. So you don't have, people that are going to, be falling into the cracks and we're missing what they're working on. If you can kind of give everybody one platform where everybody can share ideas and work collaboratively, that's going to work the best.
Great.
And I think that's what we're going to be seeing, and I really do believe that that's what's going to push everything forward.
And that's what tourists want, is they want convenience and they want to be able to access information in one spot rather than seek it out elsewhere.
I think we take things for granted. Being here, you know your community. You know the ins and outs. You know what's going on. You know, if you're a Niagara Falls person, if you're in Wilson, if you're in Lockport, if you're in North Tonawanda, you know what's going on within your community. The problem is those great things that are going on don't always translate to a broader audience.
Sure.
And I think, you know, working on that is the key to really, you know, moving things forward, making things more successful.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being here. I think that the future's bright, and for your information, and for when I talk to other people, they're also thinking holistically, to use your term, and I think they're looking at the area as a series of offerings, or a menu of offerings, not just the isolated silos that you alluded to before.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here, and we really appreciate the work that you do, and the new mindset that's being brought to the area, because I think it's something that's needed.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it is. Thanks again. So
Thank you.
this is Kurt Stahura, once again from Trek, talking about the dynamics within the county. And if you have any questions, please put them below. We'd be more than willing to address those and get that information back to you. So look forward to seeing you again in the future. Bye-bye.